In this video, I'm going to be talking about why I purchased the Aputure B7c light bulb. Here's the story. In previous videos where I've recorded in my YouTube studio here, I've been using a cheaper LED bulb that I purchased at Bunnings. And for those that don't know what Bunnings is basically like Home Depot. And because I purchased this cheaper LED light bulb, I was getting these rolling bands in my footage, which once you see it, you can't unsee. And it started to really annoy me when I see that when I was editing these videos. And quickly I decided I need a solution for this. And luckily I'd already heard of the Aputure B7c light bulb. This light bulb is a 7-watt RGB WW LED smart bulb and takes a standard E26 or E27 light bulb socket. It has a built-in lithium battery and has a runtime of about 70 minutes at full power. It's got a fully tunable CCT from 2000K to 10,000K, a CRI of 95 plus, a TLCI of 96 plus, a 90% BT 2020 gamut coverage. It can be wirelessly controlled via the Sidus Link app on a smartphone or tablet. It has Bluetooth control up to 80 meters, and it has 2 power supply modes, standard AC and battery DC. And now that I have this light bulb, I no longer have those rolling bands in my footage, which is very pleasing to me because I really didn't like seeing that in my footage. And I also like that I can use these light bulbs as practical lights on set if I'm recording something like an interview. I just have to make sure that the light or the lamp that I'm using accepts a E26 or E27 screw light bulb. If it doesn't, I can work around that by just placing the light bulb into the fixture and use the internal battery as well and not rely on the AC power to power the globe. This is really helpful and adds to the versatility of the light. Now let's look at how the light bulb performs. Currently I've got it in my light behind me at 18%. I can now turn it down to 0% and then bring it up to 1%. And then just keep dragging it up and it's slowly going to, we're now at 40%. Now we're at 60%. And now we're at 80%. And then this is what it is at 100% brightness. So obviously it's a bit overexposed in the background, but you can see how much brightness you can get out of this light bulb. I'll now bring it back down to a more reasonable, let's say 19%. And I'm happy with how that is exposed in the background just to give my scene a little bit more pop and a little bit more light. So it's not so dark like so. The light bulb is currently at 3200 Kelvin, but I can change it with presets to 4000 Kelvin and then 5600 Kelvin, or I can just change it manually by myself with the slider here. So you can see the full spectrum of the color here, all the way from 2000K to 10,000K. Now put that back to 3200K, and if that doesn't do it for you and you like colors, well, you can change it to red, yellow, green, blue, or cyan. Or there's a color wheel and you can just change it like so as well using the Sidus Link app. And the light bulb also has 9 different effects that it has in the Sidus Link app. We've got paparazzi, which is like a camera flash going off. Then we've got fireworks. Then we've got faulty bulb. Then we've got lightning. Then we've got TV. Pulsing. Fire. Cop car. And party lights. So it's nice to know that these effects are in the light bulb. However, for my needs, I probably will never use these. Maybe on a very rare occasion, I might use fire or possibly cop car, depending on if the scene really requires it. But for my YouTube videos, because I don't want to have something very distracting in the background, I probably won't be using these effects. The build quality in my hands feels like it is well built, and it also doesn't have a fan, so you don't need to worry about having any unwanted fan noise in the background when using this light bulb. And the reason there's no fan is because this light bulb is passively cooled. The The only thing to note about this bulb is if you're using this in a practical sense and you're shooting narrative work and you want your actor to turn the light bulb on, if you're using this and the light bulb is set to power on by AC instead of the internal battery, there is a slight delay. So right now I've got the light bulb plugged into a lamp that has a power remote connected to it. So if I turn that off, it turns off. And then if I turn it on now, there's a slight delay. So you just have to keep in mind that if you're using this in narrative work and you're wanting it to look like it's real and that the actor is turning a light bulb on, there is a slight delay. So turning it off, light bulb goes out, and then turning it on, there's a slight delay. For me, this isn't a deal breaker. It's just something to be aware of. There is ways around this. You can just have your actor pretend to turn the light bulb on and then turn it on using the Sync app, having someone else off camera controlling it. Yes, it's a little bit more fiddly, but that's a workaround and something that you could consider if you really need to be able to use the light bulb in that certain type of scenario. Overall, I'm really happy with this light. It's not cheap and there are cheaper options out there, but as I mentioned right at the start of this video, if you do go with the cheaper LEDs, you probably might find that you get those rolling bands in your image and it doesn't look that great. This light bulb has solved that problem and is packed with a whole bunch of features as well that are really helpful for video creation. If you want to learn more about this light bulb, Aputure has already put together a user guide video which goes into more of the features and how this light runs. So if you're wanting to check that out, there's a link in the description. This video is really just for me to give my first impressions and talk about this light bulb just in case you weren't aware that it exists and that it's a great solution for those rolling band problems that you might get with those cheaper LED smart bulbs. And that's the video. I hope you found it helpful, and if you did, please give it a like. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to this channel for more videos on video creation in the future.